You'd think once someone becomes a millionaire, the hard part is over, right? They've made it. No more money problems. Financial freedom forever. But here's the truth. Some millionaires go broke faster than people earning minimum wage. Why? Because making money is one thing. Keeping it is a whole different game. In this video, I'll expose the biggest, most common money mistakes even millionaires make, the kind of slip-ups that quietly drain fortunes and destroy legacies. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be rich to fall into these traps. You could be walking right into them right now. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to sidestep the financial mistakes that ruin even the wealthiest people's futures. And if you're serious about building real wealth and protecting what you've worked hard for, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, one tip from this video might save you years of regret. Here's the problem with most financial advice. It talks about how to make money, but almost never how to manage it once you have it. That's where the danger really lies. We look at millionaires and think they must have it all figured out. But the reality? A shocking number of high earners lose everything within just a few years. According to a study by the National Endowment for Financial Education, roughly 70% of people who come into sudden wealth, including lottery winners and inheritance recipients, lose it all within a few years. The same goes for celebrities, athletes, even entrepreneurs who struck gold with one big deal. Many of them never learned how to protect and grow their wealth. In today's story-driven video, we're going to walk through 8 real-life millionaire mistakes, with names changed, of course, and the brutal consequences they faced. But more importantly, we'll unpack how you can avoid these traps, whether you're earning $50,000 or $500,000 a year. Each of these stories will teach you something different about mindset, strategy, and the truth behind long-term financial success. Ready? Let's dive into the first and probably the most silent killer of wealth: lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is one of the most common traps people fall into as their income increases. Now imagine this. You get a significant pay raise at work, or your side hustle finally starts to bring in serious money. You're excited, right? You've been working hard, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You start imagining all the things you could buy, all the places you could go, the car you could drive, the house you could live in. It feels like the perfect time to upgrade your life. But here's the problem. Lifestyle inflation kicks in. It's that subtle but dangerous habit of increasing your spending whenever you get a pay raise or a bonus. And before you know it, the extra income isn't helping your wealth grow. It's just feeding your expenses. Let's break this down. Imagine a man named David. David is a hardworking professional in his 30s, and he's just received a substantial raise at his job. He's worked hard for it, and now it's time to treat himself, right? He buys a new luxury car, signs a lease for a bigger apartment, and starts dining out more often. In his mind, this is the reward for his hard work, and the extra money will cover these new expenses. But what David doesn't realize is that by increasing his lifestyle expenses, he's setting up a cycle that can prevent him from building real wealth. The new apartment? It comes with a much higher rent. The luxury car? His monthly payments are now through the roof. And all those fancy dinners and trips? They're adding up fast. This is what we call lifestyle inflation, and it happens to millions of people. As their income goes up, so does their standard of living. They start living paycheck to paycheck, even though they're making more money than ever. But here's where things get tricky. Lifestyle inflation can slow down your wealth-building process and even wipe out your savings. You see, when people increase their spending to match their new income, they forget the core principle of wealth building: saving and investing. Sure, it's nice to live a more comfortable lifestyle, but if you're not setting aside a portion of that income for investments, retirement savings, or building other income streams, you're not really building wealth. And this is where even millionaires can fall into a trap. It's easy to get caught up in the lifestyle of success, whether it's flashy cars, big homes, or expensive vacations. But these luxuries come at a cost. As we've seen with so many high-earning athletes, celebrities, and business owners, lifestyle inflation can lead to financial ruin if not managed properly. Now, let's take a look at Ronald Read, a janitor who secretly amassed an $8 million fortune through frugal living and smart investing. Despite his modest job and humble lifestyle, Ronald avoided the pitfall of lifestyle inflation. He never upgraded to a bigger home or bought unnecessary luxuries. Instead, he lived modestly, reinvesting his savings into solid, dividend-paying stocks that generated wealth over time. His success wasn't about earning more money. It was about keeping his expenses low and prioritizing long-term wealth over short-term desires. So, how can we avoid falling into the same trap? Here's the key. Don't let your lifestyle increase with your income. Instead of spending more when you earn more, commit to saving and investing a portion of your raise or bonus. A good rule of thumb is to save at least 50% of any increase in income and invest it wisely. This way, you're living the same lifestyle as before, while your wealth is growing in the background. Remember, the less you spend, the more you can invest. Over time, those small investments grow, and your wealth multiplies, just like Ronald's. As we continue exploring the common money mistakes even millionaires make, we come to one of the most dangerous traps, the allure of quick riches. Now, we've all heard the stories, the ones that make us dream big. The guy who made a fortune with Bitcoin overnight, the entrepreneur who became a millionaire by launching a single product, or the investor who picked the right stock at the right time. These stories make us think that wealth can be achieved quickly, with a bit of luck or a bold decision. But the truth? Quick riches are often too good to be true. And chasing them can not only set you up for failure, but can also derail your long-term financial success. Let's take Jason, for example. Jason was an up-and-coming entrepreneur, hungry for success. He was tired of his 9-to-5 job and dreamed of making millions. One day, he came across an ad online that promised him he could become a millionaire by investing in cryptocurrency, fast. The ad boasted stories of ordinary people who turned $1,000 into $100,000 in just a few months. Tempted by the promise of fast wealth, Jason took the plunge. For a while, things went well. He watched his investment grow, and the thrill of quick profits was addictive. But the story didn't have a happy ending. Jason lost everything when the market crashed, and his investments became worthless. What started as a dream of quick riches ended in disaster. Jason's story isn't unique. Millions of people, driven by the allure of fast wealth, fall into this trap every year. They take high-risk bets, chase trends, or jump into get-rich-quick schemes that promise instant success. But the reality is that building lasting wealth takes time, discipline, and a well-thought-out strategy. The belief that you can become rich quickly is a fantasy that too often ends in financial ruin. So why does this happen? It's because of the psychological pull of instant gratification. We live in an age where everything is fast. We want fast food, instant messaging, and same-day delivery. This need for instant results translates to our finances too. The idea of achieving quick wealth without years of hard work or strategic planning is incredibly tempting. But here's the catch. Real wealth is built slowly, and it often comes from consistent, long-term efforts. Take Warren Buffett, for example, who built his massive fortune not by chasing trends or picking hot stocks, but by carefully selecting undervalued companies and holding on to them for decades. His success didn't come from fast money. It came from patience, discipline, and calculated risk-taking. And then there's Ronald Read again, whose wealth story proves this point perfectly. While others chased quick profits and flashy schemes, Ronald stuck to the basics, investing in steady, reliable companies and letting compound interest do its work. No shortcuts, no wild gambles, just consistent, smart decisions over decades. The lesson here? Quick riches are often illusions. While it's tempting to believe that we can strike it big with the right investment or business idea, the reality is that most overnight successes are outliers. For every person who wins big on a risky investment or a hot trend, there are countless others who lose it all. The better approach? Focus on building wealth in sustainable ways. Look for opportunities that offer long-term growth, diversify your investments, and always have a clear plan. Don't rely on luck or the hope of a big payout. Instead, Build wealth the slow and steady way. If you focus on the fundamentals, practice patience, and stay disciplined, you'll be setting yourself up for success, just like Ronald Reed did. And while it might take longer than you'd like, the wealth you build will be more secure, and you'll be better prepared for the future. Mistake number 3, ignoring the power of compound interest. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked yet powerful concepts when it comes to building wealth: compound interest. For many, the term compound interest might sound boring or even confusing. But trust me, ignoring it is one of the biggest financial mistakes even the most successful individuals can make. Let's take James, an entrepreneur who was well on his way to becoming a millionaire. He had a successful business, a solid income, and a fairly comfortable lifestyle. But there was one thing James didn't prioritize: his investments. James was more focused on reinvesting profits back into his business to expand quickly. While that's important for business growth, he didn't understand the magic of letting his money grow outside of his business. He had a small retirement account and a few savings, but he never fully leveraged the power of compound interest. He never made it a priority to invest in a diversified portfolio, nor did he give his money the time it needed to compound. While James was busy building his business, his friends, Sarah and Michael, were putting small amounts into long-term investments. Sarah had been consistently contributing to her retirement plan for years, while Michael regularly invested in low-cost index funds. They weren't making massive gains overnight, but every year their investments were slowly growing, and most importantly, their money was working for them. Years went by, and by the time James realized his mistake, his friends had already gained significant wealth from their investments, without taking any major risks. Compound interest had worked in their favor. Compound interest is often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world, and for a good reason. It's the process of earning interest on both the principal amount of your investments, as well as the accumulated interest from previous periods. Over time, this creates a snowball effect, where your wealth grows exponentially, and the earlier you start, the more time your money has to compound. Here's a simple example. If you invest $1,000 at an annual interest rate of 7%, in 1 year, you'd earn $70. But in the second year, you'll earn interest not only on the $1,000, but also on the $70 interest from the previous year. That's compound interest at work. The real power comes when you leave your investments to grow for decades. The longer you invest and allow your money to compound, the more it grows. This is why it's so important to start investing as early as possible, even if it's just a small amount. Time is your biggest ally when it comes to compound interest. This is a lesson that many successful people like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger learned early on. Warren Buffett, in particular, has often said that the key to his wealth was starting to invest when he was very young and allowing compound interest to work its magic. The mistake many millionaires and everyday investors make is thinking that they can wait until later in life to start saving or investing. They underestimate how powerful time and compound interest can be in building wealth. And by the time they realize they've missed out on years of potential growth, it's often too late to catch up. To avoid this mistake, start investing as early as possible. Even if you can only contribute a small amount to your investments at first, those small contributions will add up over time. Don't let the allure of quick profits or the distractions of lifestyle inflation get in the way of building long-term wealth through compound interest. For those who are hesitant to start investing because they don't have enough money, consider this. The key to building wealth is consistency. It's better to invest $100 a month for 10 years than to wait until you have $10,000 to invest all at once. It's about getting the ball rolling and letting time and compound interest do the work. Remember, time is the most important factor when it comes to investing, and the earlier you start, the more your wealth will grow over time. Whether it's for retirement or just securing your financial future, don't overlook the power of compound interest. It's the secret weapon that can help you build long-lasting wealth. Mistake number 4, failing to diversify investments. Imagine putting all your money into a single stock, one company, one industry, one outcome. If it goes up, great. But if it crashes, so does your entire portfolio. That's the harsh reality many high net worth individuals face when they fail to diversify their investments. Let's revisit James, our ambitious entrepreneur. After realizing he'd neglected compound interest, he decided to finally jump into the world of investing. But rather than building a diversified portfolio, he dumped most of his money into one hot tech startup he was convinced would be the next big thing. At first, the investment soared. James felt like a genius. His friends praised his boldness, and his confidence skyrocketed. But then, like many overly hyped startups, the company hit a regulatory snag. Within months, its stock tanked. James lost more than half his investment, and with it, years of financial momentum. This is where diversification comes in. Diversification means spreading your money across different types of assets: stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, and even alternative investments. But also means diversifying within each asset class. For example, in stocks, you might hold shares in technology, healthcare, consumer goods, and energy across both U.S. and international markets. The goal isn't to strike gold with one investment. It's to reduce risk, because when one asset falls, others may hold steady or even rise, balancing out the losses. Consider Sarah again, James' more cautious friend. She had her money spread across index funds, dividend stocks, bonds, and a real estate investment trust, REIT. While none of her investments doubled overnight, she enjoyed steady growth. And when markets dipped, her diversified portfolio absorbed the shock much better than James' high-risk, single investment strategy. Even among millionaires, the myth of go big or go home is a common trap. Many believe they can predict market trends or time the perfect moment. But the truth is, no one can consistently time a market, not even professionals. That's why diversification is a cornerstone of wealth preservation. Here's a simple rule of thumb. Don't put more than 10% of your net worth into any single investment. Some advisors even suggest a 5% cap, especially for speculative assets like cryptocurrency or startups. Diversification also includes geographic spread. For example, what happens if your entire portfolio is in one country and that economy crashes? Global diversification helps protect your wealth against regional instability. To avoid this mistake, use low-cost index funds or ETFs to instantly diversify. Allocate your portfolio based on your risk tolerance and goals. Rebalance regularly to maintain your target allocation. Don't chase hot tips or trends without understanding the risk. Diversification doesn't guarantee profits, but it's a proven method to smooth returns and reduce risk over time. It's the silent protector of your wealth, reliable, boring, and powerful. James learned this the hard way. But the real tragedy? He knew better. He had read about diversification. He had even discussed it with his financial advisor. But greed, overconfidence, and a little bit of FOMO led him down a dangerous path. Don't make the same mistake. Just when you think you've got your money under control, there's one mistake most people, yes, even millionaires, never see coming. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and it's probably draining your wealth right now without you even realizing it. In part 2, we'll uncover the remaining 3 silent killers of financial freedom. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on, because this next part, it changes everything.